Greetings, faithful Golden State fans. Welcome to the Golden State Hub, your official space to stay connected with the latest news, moves, and everything that stirs up the universe of our beloved team. If you cheer with every three-pointer, get emotional with every Curry play, and live intensely with every victory, this is your place. Don't forget to support our content by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing happening on and off the court. Let's get straight to the point because today we have one of those pieces of news that can completely change the course of the season, and maybe even the franchise's future. Yes, it's true. The Golden State Warriors made a surprising move, one that no one saw coming, but is now shaking up the entire league. Domantas Sabonis, one of the most respected names among NBA centers, now wears a Warriors jersey. And more than that, he signed a massive contract worth over $200 million. This isn't just a simple roster addition, it's a true reconfiguration at the heart of the team. This move wasn't by chance. For some time now, the front office has been analyzing the need to reinforce the paint, an area that, although supported by the undeniable efforts of players like Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, has shown some vulnerability against more physical teams. The league evolved, opponents adapted, and the Warriors knew it was time to react. The arrival of Sabonis marks the beginning of a new era in San Francisco, a player with a dominant presence who combines strength, intelligence, and a rare creative ability for his position. He's not just another big man. He's an offensive facilitator, someone who can completely transform a team's playing style. While other teams bet on super teams, big names, and millionaire offensives, Golden State once again shows why it's a reference in planning. This isn't an act of desperation. It's a surgical, well-thought-out, strategic move aimed at addressing a long-standing need, presence in the paint. Sabonis comes to fill a gap that has been debated by experts and fans for years. A player who not only commands respect on defense, but also becomes essential in offensive construction. He knows how to pass, how to move, and has sharp instincts to find open teammates. In other words, he plays intelligently, which fits perfectly with the collective and fluid style that Steve Kerr has instilled at Golden State. And let's talk numbers. During his time with both the Kings and the Pacers, Sabonis consistently averaged double-digit rebounds. He's tireless in the paint, fighting for every ball like it's the last. That's exactly what the Warriors needed. How many times have we seen the team suffer by allowing crucial offensive rebounds in the final minutes? How many times was that physical presence under the rim missing to secure possession? With Sabonis, that problem may finally have a solution. But the signing also carries important symbolic weight. When a franchise decides to invest over $200 million in a player, it's sending a clear message. We're going all in to win now. Joe Lacob and his fellow investors aren't willing to sit back and watch time go by. They want another title. They want to keep Curry's legacy alive and ensure that Golden State remains a benchmark in the league. This move shows ambition. It shows that the commitment to excellence is still strong, that even after so many years at the top, the hunger to win remains intact. Of course, a move of this size always raises a number of questions. How will Sabonis fit with the current players? What will his role be in Kerr's system? How will his chemistry be with Curry, the engine of the team? It's important to remember that Sabonis is an extremely versatile player. He can set screens with precision, execute handoffs, initiate plays from the high post, and even finish safely under the basket. He fits perfectly into the kind of movement and game reading that the Warriors system values. Just imagine Sabonis setting up a play for Curry cutting to the basket, or setting a screen and immediately rolling to catch the ball wide open. The possibilities are endless. He doesn't need constant touches to make an impact. He influences the game organically within the team dynamic. Sabonis' arrival may also bring about an interesting tactical shift. With him on the court, the Warriors have the freedom to explore different lineups that don't rely exclusively on the small ball that defined their recent success. This new approach could be the key to competing with more physical teams like the Nuggets, Timberwolves, and even the Bucks, who have historically taken full advantage of interior dominance. And here comes a point that can't be ignored, the psychological factor. Knowing you now have a reliable presence in the paint changes the mindset of the entire team. It gives more confidence to the wings, allows the guards to be more aggressive on offense, and opens up space for plays that previously felt too risky. Sabonis's impact goes beyond the stat sheet. He brings a new spirit to the team, a new attitude, a new sense of confidence. But how exactly did this deal come to be? Just a few weeks ago, Sabonis seemed untouchable in Sacramento. He was seen as the center of a project meant to solidify the Kings as a force in the Western Conference. However, conversations started to surface, quiet negotiations happened behind the scenes, and Golden State acted fast. Very fast. Apparently, there were disagreements in contract renewal talks between Sabonis and the Kings' front office. And in that moment of uncertainty, the Warriors saw an opening, a golden opportunity to add an all-star caliber player to their roster. And they didn't hesitate. The package offered, according to rumors, was aggressive but carefully crafted to preserve the core of the team. The intention was clear: to add, not rebuild. And that's exactly what they achieved. And the most interesting part, this could be just the first of several moves. With the trade window still open and the market heating up, it wouldn't be a surprise to see Golden State making more adjustments to further refine the roster. More news could be on the way. For now, all focus is on Sabonis and his integration. Fans are eager to see him in action, to understand how he'll fit into this unique system that made the Warriors champions 4 times in the last decade. And expectations are sky high. With Domantas Sabonis now officially on the Golden State Warriors roster, a new chapter begins. But this new phase is not just about one more name on the payroll. It's about how a single addition can reshape an entire franchise, from the locker room to the playing style, from strategy to team culture. To begin with, it is impossible to ignore the impact that Sabonis's presence will have on the team's tactical structure. Steve Kerr, one of the most respected coaches in the league, has certainly already begun to draw up new schemes that take advantage of his new center's unique qualities. And this is where things get really interesting. Sabonis is not the type of player who is limited to the traditional role of rim protection and pick and roll. He is, in fact, a true facilitator, an offensive organizer who plays with intelligence, court vision, and an incredibly sharp sense of positioning. He can initiate plays from the top of the key, command the offensive movement, and find teammates with precise passes. This kind of skill, in a player of his size, is extremely rare and incredibly valuable for the Warriors' fluid playing style. This means that Steve Kerr now has an even more complete arsenal to explore. With Sabonis at the top of the paint, Curry gains freedom to move without the ball, seeking cuts to the basket or positioning himself for his lethal perimeter shots. The floor spacing, already efficient, is likely to improve even further, as defenses will no longer be able to simply double Curry without risking opening space for a sharp pass from Sabonis. This new dynamic brings endless possibilities. Two-man plays between Sabonis and Curry, with position swaps, backdoor cuts, inverted pick and rolls. All of this comes into play. And it's not just on offense where he will make an impact. On defense, Sabonis arrives as a stabilizing force. He may not be the best rim protector in the league, but he compensates with positioning, game reading, and a physical presence that will make a difference in rebounding battles and defending opposing centers. For years, we've seen the Warriors struggle against players like Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Anthony Davis. Now, with Sabonis, the team gains a more solid answer to these threats. But this change also requires sacrifices and adjustments. It's impossible to fit a player of Sabonis's caliber without other pieces of the roster needing to adapt. This leads us to think about court minutes, rotation, and how Steve Kerr will distribute time between the front-court players. Will Green start playing more as a forward, sharing the paint with Sabonis? Or will Kerr alternate minutes between the two to ensure there is always an experienced and dominant presence on the floor? The answers to these questions will unfold throughout the season as the team finds its new balance. What can be said right away is that Golden State gains something it has been seeking for a long time: flexibility. Sabonis offers multiple formation possibilities, from more physical and tall lineups to hybrid lineups that mix mobility and strength. This will be essential in the playoffs when matchups require tactical adjustments game by game, series by series. And this kind of reinforcement affects the entire locker room. When a player of this level arrives, he raises the standard. Practices become more intense. Internal competition grows. Everyone wants to prove their worth, and everyone knows they are part of a group that is shaping up to compete for a championship. This energy spreads, and it's exactly this kind of environment that builds champions. Behind the scenes, there is also much to discuss. The deal with Sabonis was not an isolated move. It was the result of weeks, perhaps months, of conversations, calculations, analysis, and risky decisions. The Warriors' front office is not known for acting impulsively. On the contrary, each move is usually the result of a long-term vision. According to sources close to the franchise, the interest in Sabonis has existed for some time. He has always been seen as a player who could complement the Warriors' style without the need to change the team's identity. And when the first signs of dissatisfaction emerged in Sacramento, Golden State acted with surgical precision. The offer made to the Kings was considered bold, but strategic. There was no desperation, no rush. The idea was clear. Bring in an elite player without dismantling the competitive core that already existed, and that's exactly what they achieved. Was the cost high? Undoubtedly. But the potential return in wins, stability, and leadership could make up for everything. The most fascinating thing is that this change is not just about the current season, it's also a bet on the future. Sabonis is only 28 years old, entering the prime of his career, and has at least 5 or 6 more seasons at a high level ahead of him. This means that, even when Curry begins to slow down, the team will already have a solid foundation to remain competitive. In fact, Curry himself was involved in the discussions that preceded the move. According to internal reports, he approved the move and sees Sabonis as a piece that can help him extend his career at a high level. A player who shares the offensive load, contributes to rebounding, and allows Curry to focus on doing what he does best: shooting, leading, and closing out games. And the fans? The response was instantaneous. As soon as the news was confirmed, social media exploded. Thousands of fans reacted with excitement, predicting a new promising phase for the franchise. Sabonis's jerseys with the Warriors uniform have already started circulating, and the anticipation around his debut is through the roof. The betting markets also reacted. On specialized sites, the Warriors' chances of winning the title for the season immediately increased after the announcement of Sabonis's arrival. Analysts began revising projections, commentators reevaluated their power rankings, and rivals started paying more attention to what is being built in San Francisco. Because it's not just about talent, it's about mindset. And this kind of move shows that the Warriors still believe in their ability to dominate. Even with new powers emerging in the league, even with young and aggressive opponents trying to steal the spotlight, Golden State shows that they don't plan on fading away anytime soon. Sabonis is just the first sign of this new push. There are rumors that the front office is still probing the market for more reinforcements. Names are being discussed, agents are being contacted, and the trade window may hold more surprises. With Domantas Sabonis now wearing the blue and gold uniform of the Golden State Warriors, it's not just the playing systems that are undergoing transformations. The impact goes beyond the court and creates a real domino effect, starting within the roster and spreading throughout the Western Conference, and even the entire NBA. First, let's look inside the roster. With a new high-profile player joining, the level of expectation automatically rises. The bench players, who were already competing for minutes in a highly competitive environment, now know that there is even less margin for error. This generates a kind of internal urgency that can be beneficial. Everyone knows they need to deliver their best every single night. Young players who are in development will need to show maturity quickly, as Kerr now has a tighter rotation and elite options for crucial moments. This can also lead to a natural filtering within the roster. Those who can elevate their game will stay, and those who don't fit into the new reality may be involved in future trade negotiations. This type of environment is exactly what great teams need. internal pressure, healthy competition, and a clear goal: to win. And Sabonis's presence directly contributes to this atmosphere. He is known for his work ethic, quiet leadership, and professionalism. Even though he's not as vocal as Draymond Green, he commands respect through his effort and consistency. He's the kind of player who doesn't need to speak much to be heard. Furthermore, Sabonis brings playoff experience. He's been through tough series and knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. This makes him even more valuable on a roster that seeks to maintain a standard of excellence. Off the court, there are a number of business and strategic implications. The contract worth over $200 million signed with Sabonis wasn't just a bold move. It was also an institutional statement. The Warriors' front office is showing through concrete actions that they are willing to surpass the salary cap and luxury tax penalties to continue competing for championships. Joe Lacob, the team owner, has previously stated that he doesn't mind making heavy investments if it means staying at the top of the league. And this transaction reinforces exactly that commitment. The message is clear. The Golden State Warriors are not in rebuild mode, nor are they satisfied with what they've already achieved. They want more. They want it now. This stance also puts pressure on the other franchises in the league. Teams that were betting on inertia or waiting for slow rebuilds now see that one of the giants has decided to move aggressively. This can accelerate trade negotiations in other cities, force teams to reevaluate their plans, and even trigger the formation of new super teams. The balance of power in the West, for example, is already starting to shift. The Denver Nuggets, reigning champions, will have to deal with a more physical and complete version of the Warriors. The Phoenix Suns, with their star trio, are no longer the only team with a roster full of stars and depth. The Los Angeles Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks, the Minnesota Timberwolves all need to recalibrate their strategies. And for the NBA as a whole, this kind of movement brings something valuable: narratives. The league thrives on stories, rivalries, and big matchups. And now, with Sabonis wearing a Warriors jersey, a new layer of drama is added to every game between Golden State and Sacramento, Golden State and Denver, Golden State and any other title contender. By the way, the Sacramento Kings, Sabonis's former team, are among those who feel this shift the most. Losing their most dominant player to a direct rival is a hard pill to swallow. Sabonis was the engine of the team, the link between offense and defense, the heartbeat of the paint. Without him, the team will need to find new ways to stay competitive, and that won't be easy. And then there's the emotional side. The Kings' fan base was deeply connected to Sabonis. His departure is not just a technical change, but a symbolic rupture. And this reinforces the image of the Warriors as a franchise capable of attracting talent even from rivals, something few organizations manage to do consistently. Meanwhile, on the San Francisco side, the feeling is exactly the opposite. Sabonis's arrival represents hope, renewed ambition, and a clear bet on more trophies for the shelf. Fans know that it's not every day a player of this caliber joins the team, and they're ready to embrace him. With the roster strengthened, every game carries more weight. Opponents will step onto the court with more caution, knowing they are now facing a team with offensive power, both on the perimeter and in the paint. Defensive analysts from other teams will have to work overtime to find ways to contain this new Golden State model. And speaking of the model, there's something fundamental that shouldn't be overlooked. The Warriors haven't changed their identity with Sabonis's arrival. They've evolved it. Instead of forcing an artificial fit or deviating from the style that led them to success, Golden State brought in a player who expands their possibilities without compromising their essence. Sabonis can seamlessly integrate into a system of quick passes, constant movement, and intelligent decision-making because that's how he already plays. He is, in a sense, a warrior by nature, even before joining the franchise. This facilitates the transition and speeds up the adaptation process. With veteran players and a coach who knows exactly how to get the best out of each piece, the Warriors are poised to turn this acquisition into something much greater than just numbers and stats. We're talking about real impact, a change in level. And that level, it's worth remembering, is the top. Sabonis's arrival also raises an inevitable question. What will the next move be? We know that the Warriors' front office doesn't usually stop after a major trade. Historically, they keep adjusting, refining, optimizing. Sabonis' arrival may have been the main piece, but there's always room to add a good perimeter defender, a reliable shooter off the bench, or a versatile player to round out the rotation. The market is constantly moving. Unsatisfied players, franchises in rebuild mode, expiring contracts. All of this opens doors for new opportunities. And now, with the title window clearly open, Golden State will be keeping an eye on any chance to further strengthen their roster. All of this points in one direction. The Warriors are in full attack mode, and when this franchise enters that state, the rest of the league feels it. The NBA landscape is constantly changing, and recent rumors suggest that the Golden State Warriors might be about to make a surprising move in the market. The name circulating behind the scenes is that of Kai Sotto, the talented Filipino center who has been gaining attention for his versatile game and enormous potential. If this move actually happens, it could mean not only a technical boost for the Warriors, but also a massive cultural impact for the franchise and for the NBA as a whole. The potential arrival of Kai Sotto to the Golden State Warriors carries a special weight. The team is known for its ability to develop talent and its modern game philosophy based on ball movement and floor spacing. Kai, with his impressive height of 7.2 and a skill set that goes beyond the conventional for centers, could fit perfectly into this system. But what really stands out is not just the technical aspect, but the story this signing could tell. Kai Sotto is more than just a promising young talent. He represents an entire country passionate about basketball. The Philippines is known for its intense basketball culture, and Kai's rise to the global stage symbolizes the dream of many young athletes from the country. His journey is marked by challenges and achievements, from his early departure from the Philippines in search of international opportunities to his performance in competitive leagues like Australia's NBL and Japan's B-League. Kai Sotto's journey through professional basketball hasn't been simple. He had to give up the comfort of home to seek growth in foreign leagues, facing physical and tactical challenges that helped shape him as a player. In Australia, he proved that he could compete against high-level athletes, showing defensive potential and good game awareness. In Japan, he further refined his skills, developing a reliable mid-range shot and proving he could be more than just a traditional rim protector. The question many Warriors fans are asking is, how would Kai Sotto fit into the team? The Warriors have a recent history of struggling to find a dominant presence in the paint. With a playing style focused on shooting and fast transitions, the team often lacks a center who can provide both rim protection and offensive impact near the basket. Kai Sotto could be exactly the missing piece. His defensive game is one of the main attractions. With an impressive wingspan, he has the ability to block shots and contest finishes in the paint, something essential for any team looking for defensive solidity. Additionally, his presence on the boards could help the Warriors improve one of their weak points, securing second-chance opportunities on offense and limiting opponents to just one possession per play. But Kai Sotto is not just a defensive player. Unlike many traditional centers, he has an interesting mobility for someone his size. His ability to move well without the ball and finish near the basket could add a new element to the Warriors' offense. And more than that, his mid-range shooting ability could create more spacing, allowing the team's stars more freedom to attack. Beyond the on-court impact, Kai Sotto's potential arrival at the Golden State Warriors would have enormous relevance off it. The NBA has been increasingly investing in its global expansion, and signing a standout Filipino player would be a strategic step to gain even more fans in Asia. The Bay Area, home to the Warriors, has one of the largest Filipino communities in the United States, which would make the connection between the team and this fan base even stronger. The rise of international players in the NBA is a growing trend. In recent years, we've seen athletes from different parts of the world becoming stars in the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic are just a few examples of how basketball has truly become global. Kai Sotto could be the next to follow this path, and the Warriors have the perfect environment to help him develop his full potential. If this move actually happens, it won't just be about basketball. It will be a story of representation, of a young man carrying the hopes of an entire country and potentially opening doors for future generations of Filipino players. The impact of his presence on the Warriors would go far beyond the court, influencing fans, sponsors, and even the way the NBA expands into new markets. Kai Sotto's arrival to the Warriors could also represent a shift in how the team builds its roster for the future. With an experienced and consolidated core, the franchise needs to think about renewal and how to maintain its success in the years to come. Betting on a young talent like Kai could be a strategic move for both the present and the future. Now, it remains to be seen whether the Warriors will actually make this signing happen. Speculation indicates there is interest, but there are still many factors to consider. Is the team willing to take a chance on a young talent who still needs to prove himself in the NBA? And is Kai Sotto ready to make that leap and face the challenges of the world's most competitive league? What's certain is that if this signing happens, it will be a landmark moment for the NBA and for Filipino basketball. Kai Sotto has the opportunity to make history and show that players from any part of the world can dream big and reach the biggest stages of the sport. And if there's a team that knows how to turn talents into stars, it's the Golden State Warriors. And you, fan, what do you think of this possibility? Do you believe Kai Sotto could be the missing piece for the Warriors? So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on everything about the Warriors. See you next time.